Welcome to an episode of Barman Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at the Sandlot, which I got in my Sandlot collection set here, which has all three films. Because they decided to make two sequels. Of course, the sequels didn't come until, the 2000s, so, let's make the sequels almost, a decade plus later. Because reasons, okay? To be honest, the second film is an abomination. You should never watch it. The third film is definitely an improvement. It definitely has a lot of throwbacks to the first and second films. I wish it didn't have the throwbacks to the second one, but, having some throwbacks to the first film's nice, and it ties itself in together well enough that it feels like it's just showing, some love and appreciation for the original film that kicked off, I guess what you'd call, a small franchise. It doesn't rival The Land Before Time in terms of movie output, and I'm glad for that, because we don't really need, 15, Sandlot movies. One was enough, two was way too many, and three, well, that might have been alright. Because they came back around, and unscrewed themselves. Yeah, the second one's that bad. I wish it never existed. Ugh. If only I could break you from existence. I mean, if I could erase anything from existence, I'd probably pick The Sandlot 2 or Life is a Jungle. And I'm really hard-pressed to know which one would be worse there, because Life is a Jungle is such an obscure title, most people probably don't even know of it. Except the internet, because, the internet knows about every obscure little thing. I know, I keep putting off talking about The Sandlot, but just thinking about the other second film that's right there in my face really gets my goat. Okay, I'll put down the box. The original film, it's a bit weird to think of as a baseball movie, in my opinion, because baseball is more of a convenient excuse to explain how Smalls befriends the other kids in the neighborhood, because there's not really any big baseball term or anything going on, so it feels as a bit of an oddball as a sports movie. Honestly, it feels more like a drama/comedy film. The baseball aspect's just a way to, get everyone together. Everything else that comes out of it's the interesting bits. I mean, sure, you got the Sandlot team versus the Little Leaguers where they just utterly cream them, but it's not like they put a lot of emphasis and focus on that game, where we're seeing, a bunch of innings and stuff. We just get a few snippets and pieces of it, especially of the catcher being, a jerk to people and distracting them while they're trying to hit the ball. Yeah, I remember my Little League years. I don't think I ever had a catcher try to do that to me. Usually you'd have the outfielders and infielders that'd be like, come on, swing, bye, 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 swing. Usually we wouldn't hear the catcher talking crap. Though others' experiences may differ. Yeah. It's hard to find a lot of stuff to talk about the original Sandlot, because I don't have a lot I can really complain about, and I don't like to compliment things usually, which is weird, I suppose, but when things are good, you expect them to be good. It's when they suck you can complain about them for days. I mean, I suppose there's a few things I could pick that are minor minutia with the first film, like the fact that, Benny the Jet Rodriguez, massive Babe Ruth fan, doesn't know how to spell his last name, signing the baseball, Ruth with an E at the end of it. Like, seriously? How does that fool Smalls' mom anyway? Like, seriously, does she, never look at the baseball closely enough to realize, oh, wait, the name's wrong. Huh. That's kind of suspicious. And now that I think about it, the seams aren't the right color either, because the ball, as they show it early on in the movie, at least, has red and blue seams. Yet the baseball they buy has just pure red seams. So just even looking at it at a glance, you're like, oh, this ball is definitely not the ball we were talking about, or not my husband's ball. Like, yeah. How does she not catch on to that? She must really not go into that trophy room, ever. Or pay attention to the small details of that ball, for whatever reason. So yeah, there's that, I suppose. There's also some other minor minutiae you can pick on, where you have cars that aren't of the era, or bits and pieces of technology learning about that aren't from the era, or more modern soda bottles or something in there that wouldn't have been from 1962. So there's things you can nitpick the film for, that break it out of the time era it's supposed to come from. But I don't really care about most of those minor details. The only one that really gets my goat just a little bit is the whole Babe Ruth spelled with an E thing. If you like the Great Bambino so much, you can talk about all his various nicknames and his legends, You think you would get his name right, you know? Outside of that, it's just a lovable film with a lot of hijinks. Some might call it a cult classic. I'd say it's a pretty solid film. Though, I imagine a lot of others would disagree that are more, official film critics. Oh well. Till next time, then. See ya.
Remember, kid, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you never go wrong.